Hi, Merle Gilley here. Welcome to video number 1. I'm so excited that you've decided to spend a few additional minutes with me on this video, and I sincerely hope that you're enjoying my book. When I first discovered everything that you're learning now, I felt like a kid in a candy store because I knew I had a whole new world of financial possibilities in front of me. I was so blown away 15 years ago, I went out and started telling everyone I knew about what I now call my family financial miracle. I want you to have the same type of experience and move from a passive pursuit of retirement where you sort of know what's going on but consistently living in a state of panic when you hear all the negative news about the economy to an active, well thought out attack on your retirement plan because you'll know that you can get competitive rates of return without risking your money in the stock market or exposing it to future taxation. A recently released survey by the American Psychological Association found that money is, in fact, the top source of stress for the majority of Americans. Matter of fact, money worries were ahead of concerns about work, family responsibilities, and even their health. It simply doesn't have to be that way. And I've spent the last 12 years safeguarding every one of my clients so that their money was the least of their concerns. This book and these videos will do away with the money stresses once and for all if you'll just get through everything that I provided for you and open your mind to new possibilities. Since you're reading my book, you now are seeing that it is possible to make a 25% average rate of return and still not make any money, and how financial companies can use math to skew the numbers to make things appear better than they really are. Today, I'd like to validate what you've read in the book and look how the average rate of return works using math, because it's much different than how money really works. I'll start out by using some hypotheticals but extreme numbers during 4 different periods of time, 2 bull markets and 2 bear markets, so the results are obvious. Let's say I start off with $100,000 at the beginning of the first bull market, and I earn a 100% rate of return that period of time. This will give me a gain on my investment of $100,000. Pretty sweet. So at the end of the first bull market, I have $200,000. I begin my second time period with $200,000. But we have a bear market, and I take a 50% loss on my investment. I lose $100,000 of my $200,000, so that gives me an ending balance of $100,000. Okay. I start my third period of time with a beginning balance of $100,000. And again, I earn a 100% rate of return, picking up a $100,000 gain on my investment, ending the third period with $200,000. Much better. For period number 4, I start off with my $200,000 and I experience another bear market. I take another 50% hit on my money, losing $100,000, ending the period number 4 with $100,000. If I look at the math during this period, I gained 100% in each of the bull markets, period 1 and 3, and lost 50% in each of the bear markets, periods 2 and 4. So 200% total gain minus 100% total loss equals a total gain of 100%. If I divide that by the 4 periods of time, I had an average rate of return of 25%. That's math. But let's review the money. I started with $100,000, and after 4 different markets, I ended with $100,000. So my actual rate of return on my money was 0, right? Correct. And that's the difference between math and money. So what is the lesson here? It's that math does not equal money. Now let's look at how this concept plays out in real life. In the book, I showed you an example of the S&P 500 average rate of return for the past 8 years and how that compared to the actual rates of return. To give you an even clearer understanding of how this works, I'm going to show you the S&P 500 average rate of return over the past 15 years and how that would compare to an actual rate of return. If I started with $100,000 as my beginning balance in the year 2000, and I let that account grow over the next 15 years to 2014, using the S&P 500 Total Return Index Performance, I would have an account balance of $186,443. If I add up all 15 years of gains and losses, I get 91.38%. And if I divide that total by the 15 years, I get an average rate of return of 6.09% per year. To test the math to see if the actual account balance reflects this average rate of return, I will run a future value calculation crediting 6.09% each year on the $100,000 deposit. When I do this, my account balance is not $186,443. It comes out to be $242,726. A 30% difference in the two account balances. So, the S&P 500 average rate of return may be correct mathematically, but it isn't reality in your pocket where it counts. Let's figure out what is reality. If I started with $100,000 and I ended with $186,430 over a 15-year period, that works out to be an actual rate of return of 4.24%. If you look at the calculation I ran at 4.24 over the 15-year period, you can see the account balance grew to only $186,430. So the conclusion is, even though the S&P 500 index averaged a 6.09% rate of return, the reality is the actual rate of return is 4.24%. Again, proving math does not equal money. It is very important for you to understand the difference between an average rate of return and the actual return on your money. If you're doing projections using averages versus actual returns, it can mean a reduction of your retirement account balance by 30% or even more when you retire. The bottom line here is this: math is only a number, and money is something you can take home with you. It's what buys the groceries, sends the kids to college, covers your medical bills. It's your lifestyle security. From this day forward, an average rate of return should not be considered when your lifestyle security is at risk. There are always unknown forces operating in the financial markets, and it's impossible for anyone to predict when the next meltdown will occur. The last thing you can afford is to interrupt the compounding effect of your retirement cash when it's finally your turn to start living out your dreams. Just hoping and praying for the best wasn't good enough for me, and that's exactly why I chose to have all of my retirement funds set up the way I do. I like the idea of never having to worry about my money, especially now since I'm in my mid-50s. My book and these videos will show you a way that I believe is better. You'll discover how you can get actual rates of return with limited to no stock market risks at all. Here's the fact of the matter. Retirement success always comes down to just two simple things: focus and effort. The good news is, we can control both.